This is the ZT amplifier's Lunchbox. It's so called because of its very small size. It is the size of a very small practice amp, but it is rated at actually 200 watts or so, and it is extraordinarily loud. I'll just put a tuner, an electronic tuner, next to this thing so you can see just how small it is. There are very few controls on the ZT. There's a single input for a jack, there's a gain control, a volume control, a tone control, and an ambience control. Now, by using the gain control, you can set the input sensitivity and then set your master volume with the volume control. So that's quite simple. The other two controls are a product of the way this thing's been designed. It takes your analog it takes the analog signal from your guitar and converts it to, puts it through a preamp and then converts it to digital, and then it applies some tone algorithms and ambience algorithms that are controllable by those knobs while the signal is in digital. The ambience is a word that describes the difference between an open-backed cabinet and a closed-backed cabinet, which are at either ends of that knob's turning circle, and obviously in between are the different segments of sound in between those two. Now we're looking at the back of the Lunchbox, which has some quite important control features on here, apart from the obvious input for the AC and the on-off power switch. We have a speaker out where you can attach an 8-ohm extension cabinet. I haven't tried this, but I've spoken to people who have, and they say the sound of the amplifier is already very good, is vastly improved by allowing it to use a larger speaker. The other jack here is a headphone output. Now, normally you'd expect headphone output to mute the internal speaker, but in this case it doesn't, so you can use that as an output for a DI to a desk or something like that. If you do want to use it as a headphone output, there's a dedicated volume control and a switch that turns the speaker off, which is very important. So you can run it as a DI into the desk and leave the speaker on so that you've got it as a monitor, or you can use headphones and turn the speaker off. There's also an auxiliary input for CDs, MP3s and such like, so you can play along with your favourite track. This is the front of the Lunchbox. You can see there's a 6.5 inch speaker in there. I was talking about tone, how the analog signal was converted to digital. Once it comes out of the tone circuitry, it then gets converted back to analog and fed to a pair of power amps that are bridged. The science is there to be found on the internet, but all you really need to know is that bridging amplifiers makes them a lot louder for the same power consumption. The guitar I'm using has got mini humbuckers, which are moderate output. I'm just going to play you a few chords now here. That's the ambience set at middle, tone just tweaked above 12. The volume is only a third on and the gain is about 3/4 through. So there's a whole bunch more volume available at this setting. Let's just take the ambience back to closed cabinet. And then wind that through to open cabinet. Take the gain up to as high as it's going to go. Bear in mind these pickups aren't very powerful, so there'd be more overdrive available for humbuckers and high output humbuckers. There's no point in me turning this thing up to its fullest volume level, because all it would do is damage the microphone in my video camera. I can just tell you that the volume is at just behind a third on. You could happily play this at a pub gig, which sounds remarkable, but it is actually true. The word awesome is often overused these days, but in real terms the ZT Lunchbox is a step forward in technology that allows the unusual development of an amplifier that can sound this good through a small speaker. It's not a cheap amplifier by any means, but it is a genuine step forward in technology. Amplifiers will not be produced in the same way in the future. ZT Lunchbox, you really ought to have one.